start with the end in mind. So how, and that puts a limit on what you want to do. If you want to do the entire history of one branch of your family, and you don't want it to be 800 pages long, think about how are you going to end it? Is there a way to tie it up? Are you going to do it with the death of one particular ancestor? Are you going to do it with everyone immigrated to the United States? Maybe you're writing about their time in Japan, and now they made it to the U.S., and now I'm going to end the story. Because it's a good way to control what you say throughout the story. You can talk about themes and weave them in throughout the story. Think about the end, and then think about the beginning, and then the middle. And it can be kind of, you can put some tricks in there that really will make your reader go, oh, so that's why everyone in the family loves strawberry farming, or that's why everyone in the family is good at playing the piano. You know, something like that. You can delight your reader with. Go ahead. Okay, so I wanted to see if you could start writing down a couple of ideas in the little book that I gave you about what you might write about. And I have some extra pens if anyone has them. Anybody need a pen? So it could be, I'm going to write the entire ancestry of my father's paternal line. Or I'm going to write about my maternal grandparents. Or I'm going to write about my mother. Something like that. And it's okay if you don't have an idea. Right. And if anyone has an idea they'd like to share with class, that would be interesting. Does anyone have the problem of they're going to write about someone that they didn't even know at all? Like your great-grandparents? Okay, quite a few people. And I'm doing the same thing right now, so I'll tell you what I decided to do. So I'm taking a class right now, I have to write a book for. And I'm going to write about my great-great-grandmother. And I never met her, my relatives didn't know her. And so I'm going to use all of the vital records to speak for me. And then I picked a theme at the end of maybe 2 years before she died. She got on the railroad and visited her family, one in Indiana and one all the way over in California. And I thought that was quite an adventure for a lady who is older and not in the best of health, to go off and do that right before she passed away. So that's going to be my theme. And I'm going to try to weave that through the end. So I know what the end is. The end is, of course, she passes away. But my interlocking theme is the railroad. Okay. If anyone wants to share an idea, I'd love to hear it. But if not, we can just keep on going. Okay. All right, Ryan. And so organizing. Once you've decided who you're going to write about and what you're going to write about, you need to organize it. Ryan, you can go ahead and click through there. Okay. So we need to write an outline, and you may remember from high school having to write an outline before you wrote a term paper, and you dreaded it, or maybe you wrote the outline after you wrote the term paper, and that's good too. I know a lot of really good writers who don't use an outline, but I think for this, it's really a good idea to do it. And you're not wedded to the outline. You can change it at any time, and you will change it while you're writing it. So the reason we are doing the outline, other than creating the flow for our story, is so we can break it up into little chunks that we can write one at a time. Or even write about this here, write about that here, write about, we don't have to go in order. Because I don't know about you, but I can't drop everything for 6 weeks and write a book. I have to carve out that time, 1 hour here, 2 hours here to write. And I want to be able to pick up and say, okay, well today I'm going to write about my great-great-grandma's time in California. And tomorrow I might write about her time in Indiana. That's the only way I can really get these things done. So outline. You start with the broad topics and you jot down your key thoughts, and then you maybe even just throw some words on paper. I want to write about their wedding. I want to write about all their children. I want to write about when they had the big fire, things like that. And then you can start writing your storyboard or your outline on a word processor or on paper. It's fine. And so if writing an outline is not working for you, you're completely blocked, I would try doing storyboarding. And so I've included a folder that has some Post-it notes in there for you. And you can start writing jot little ideas down on the Post-it notes and stick them all over. If I was at home, I would have a big poster board on this, but this is just for our efforts here. And so you see how for him, I've written several things that happened in his life, and I just have them any color, just jumbled on there. Where he was born, when he got married, how he had to go back to, he was educated in Japan and came back to California, and the key turning points in his life is what I've done. So next one. And so I step back once I've done that, and I look and I said, well, what are the big turning points that I can focus on in the book? What are the top 3 themes in the book? And I thought, internment camp, his mother dying, and him kind of being pushed out of the house and being on his own, and also his success as a farmer. So I can write about something happy as well. And so I've highlighted those, and for next screen, I think I'm going to use this as my key turning point, but I'm also going to use these as headers. Mother dying, Harvard was on his own. And then all of a sudden, once I have the main headers there, the main points I want to make, all the other little cards seem to fit underneath them. So, he had to leave his farm and possessions behind. And I can also mention that he had challenges before, when his mother died. So, early years, born in Santa Clara, education in Japan. You see how this is sort of they become chapter headings. And these become the information that support each chapter. And it doesn't have to be necessarily in order of his life.